you ever wondered what would happen if the #1 ranked Overwatch League team took on the number 20th? You have? Yes, you've really been looking forward to it? Then good, because that's what you're about to get. The Vancouver Titans are going to be taking on the Florida Mayhem, and they're going to have to bring plenty of...
El Clasico.
This is the El Clasico.
Big sports rivalry between Vancouver and Florida. No,
See, we can
hockey, I think there is.
We can use sarcasm now because we're not on Disney.
The Florida Panthers have always been pretty good in hockey.
Yep.
Florida Mayhem is sitting at 20th.
What about the Dolphins?
Not very good right now. Oh, the Dolphins, they've been horrible forever.
What about the Jaguars?
Even the Jets beat the Dolphins. I mean, you see the Titans, though. They're up top, 21-1, plus 56 in the map differential. They've been rolling through the Overwatch League this far, and I think you kind of worried about how they would fit into like the roll-lock meta, but it's been quite nice for them. Florida, this is going to be their first match. We'll get to see what they can do.
The Vancouver Titans, though, start off stage 4 well with a revenge win against the Shanghai Dragons. We're talking about a team with 1 map loss in the regular season, and they've only won 1 stage finals. It was only the Valiant to actually take them down during regular stage play. And again, the Titans, in classic style, they hit the ground running, but their eye is on the big prize.
And you have Hacksaw, you see a lot of the clips there playing the Genji. He is such a strong Genji player where a lot of other teams are experimenting with maybe some like Sombra Doomfist, some stuff that we saw like back in the World Cup. Teams are playing, some teams playing like Sombra Genji, so a lot of different variations when they want to play the dive.
And then for the Florida Mayhem, we've seen them make a lot of changes. We've heard a lot from their management about plans for this team. But we have 2 potential different rosters. Now, DPI, Karayan, Gargoyle, and Rain are the most recent additions to this roster. WGS Armament is the team that many of these guys have come from, and a lot of expectations, or at least when I ask people about them so that know how they performed over in Korea, they definitely expect much.
The players have talent. I think it's kind of, it's unfair to say that they're just going to come in, you're going to be able to slot them in the lineup and being able to, because even when they're practicing in stage 3, like, are they practicing in terms of what the stage 3 meta was, or are they practicing in terms of this? So it's like you got to start the teamwork, building it all over again.
You mean they knew about 222 before stage 4 and they didn't leak it?
They did, but I think maybe they don't have a lot of time to work on some things and get the teamwork going. Where I think even if you see the new players in, I wouldn't expect them to like shoot up the standings here. So I think it's just a work in progress for Florida.
So it's been a 2-year work in progress. The Florida Mayhem.
Yeah.
Well, for your daily dose of swagger, let's bring them out to the stage. Welcome the Vancouver Titans. Hey, you know how long the rebuilding process took for this team? There wasn't one. There wasn't one.
They bring in a completely new roster, right? Remember the expansion teams had a little bit of a window for the previous teams from season 1. We're not allowed to sign people. The Vancouver Titans roster, formerly Runaway, like this was kind of like the crown jewel of like everybody who was coming in to the league in terms of like a full team. Vancouver scoops them up, and they have not disappointed. Hureg in the starting lineup today. Not like what we saw from them the other day. You can play a lot of the hit scan roles. We saw him last year actually in the Overwatch League for a majority of the season with the London Spitfire.
Yeah, we saw McCree and Diva primarily from Hureg, if I'm not mistaken. Not a ton of different looks from him, and he didn't really achieve high highs, but he looked fantastic against the Dragons. Rappel also comes in here, and this is your starting lineup for the Vancouver Titans. Now we can welcome their opponents to the stage. Bring the Mayhem for the Florida Mayhem. And here they come to the stage with some of their newer acquisitions leading the way. Rain leads the charge. And again, the Florida Mayhem have in their possession one of the most skilled counter snipers in the league. Sire player was the #1 Widowmaker duelist last season with a 2.55 first kills to death ratio.
Somebody made a wrong turn up on the stage. They were like, I'll play for Vancouver, sign me up.
I mean, it goes from doing dances to not knowing where to sit. That's how it is. So you see a couple of new faces. Well, not new faces. We've actually seen these guys play already. But Gargoyle and Rain were definitely intended to get much of their run in this stage 4. They got a little bit of a preview in stage 3. And Byron I think also up there.
We know what we've seen from some of the other players on the roster. Let's see the new guys from Florida come in, perform on the Overwatch League stages. I think it's important you see these guys get reps and get experience as you move on.
Hureg on your screen. Yeah, I mentioned about him before. You saw him a little bit with the London Spitfire, but maybe there wasn't a great fit for him and the team. That just didn't seem to be a great spot. He went back, obviously, to Runaway after that, and now returns here to the stage under the banner of the Vancouver Titans.
He did play a ton for London last year in the Widowmaker role at times when they would sub Birdring out. There was a period of time where Birdring really didn't play that much. And you see his Widowmaker against the Shanghai Dragons. It was very strong the other day. I remember a clip, I think it was Junkertown. He's really just popping off, like winning fights on his own.
That critical hit accuracy, by the way, is very good for Widowmakers. So, you know, a lot of these kills, as you can see, Hureg is just getting on his own.
24 final blows is huge as well.
7 solo kills as well, which is essentially what you would need to do as the Widowmaker. Here's your map set presented to you by Toyota. And I hope those in the front rows are wearing ponchos because it might get a little bit nasty. This could, this may be one-sided.
We don't know. I mean, we have not seen the Florida Mayhem play yet. So it'll be Lijiang Tower to kick things off, Temple of Anubis, Blizzard World, and Junkertown. So you have that really good sniper map at the end for Hureg.
I had Josh look at me downstairs, sideshow, look at me, he's like, honestly, Mitch, I don't know why I feel like this, but I feel like this could be a map 5 waiting to happen.
Brent said the same thing. And
these guys are lost in the sauce, man.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Is Florida looks like they potentially could be coming out with a Rein Zarya comp, which since we've seen the Rollock in play, we have seen the play of Rein and Zarya drop to almost 0. They're going to play the Rein Zarya with the May Reaper here.
Okay. I mean, on this map, it's reasonable to expect you to get some run out of these. See what Gargoyle can do with Zarya. Definitely a lot of opportunities to get high charge. Sire player already snuck on in there and got rid of Hureg. Good start here for the Florida Mayhem, and once this composition gets rolling, once the Reaper is getting good hits in, once the Zarya is charged up, Swan can really just step forward, keep that shield up.
Well, the reason they can run this comp and make it work is because of Lelucio. You can have that speed boost from Rain, just go right into the Orisa shield of Bumper and push the other team backwards. So if Hureg will play McCree now, so you're going to make some changes here for Vancouver. They'll stay with the same tank line though.
Titans now just look for an in. Maybe Janu finds a cheeky hook. Okay, wall placed like so they can't be blocked off. They can get him without taking too much early damage, but Huxal wasn't so lucky. This is rough for the Vancouver Titans. Gargoyle just farming them as they try and walk through the door.
Now you have a BQB Blizzard here for the next fight as Gargoyle.
That is so nice.
Look at the wall help there from BQB. Blocks out Hureg as the Mayhem getting off to a very good start. Now you have Hureg go over to Reaper, so Vancouver searching for answers for what Florida's thrown at them.
Axel close to a Blizzard as well. BQB are actually going to have his a little bit earlier. That nice little spike headshot's going to help things out. Here's a Blizzard. Slide trying to get himself out there as quickly as he possibly can. Axel into Ice Block, he avoids it. And the Mayhem push deep, thinking they'd have frozen targets to leap upon, but they were wrong. Well, I mean, Huxley was frozen, but it was of his own volition and not of Florida's. They punished that overextension.
Well, Florida actually tries to push in behind their own Blizzard, and it's Haxall who actually behind that cover drops his own Blizzard down, so they're running into the Blizzard, not able to get out of it like Vancouver was, as Bumper got out with the Fortify. Haxall just put himself in an ice block. They're able to survive that and then flip the point. Gargoyle with the Graviton Surge. Not a huge amount of follow-up here for it, though. Let's see if they're able to land it. Potentially, you use a Maywall to split off some of this follow-through.
Gargoyle with the Graviton Surge. That was a supercharge being placed down by Bumper, which means the Mayhem might just want to wait this one out. The damage boost provided to everyone in proximity on the Titans is not something they really fancy their odds against.
It buys the Titans some time here. It does allow Rain to get his sound barrier, and you get an Earth Shatter out of this. It'll be John who opens up things with a whole hog.
Ice Wall there doesn't actually split anyone off. In fact, it makes it harder for Hureg to get to the back line, but he still found his target eventually. Byram is felled early. Gargoyle would love a Graviton Surge, but where do you use it? And that's the Titans for you. They won't give you a chance to let the fight unfold the way you want.
But all 6 ultimates online here for the Florida Mayhem. They have to get a good use of these. Flip the point back. You'd ideally like to hold on to like 1 or 2 of them for the next fight, but see, it looks like Hureg just hiding here in the corner.
This has to work for
Maybe
Florida.
you're just trying to bait some players in here if you're Vancouver and get like a nice Maywall split off with a nano boost on the Hureg.
There's the Graviton Surge. Only Johnny caught inside that so far. Rappel going to go in with the nano boost setting up. Sire player trying to remove Johnny, but he's frozen stiff. He's going to have to go for the Death Blossom here. The Florida Mayhem and so many ultimates into this fight. They spent 5 and they get nothing with it. It doesn't matter sometimes, man, how many ultimates you bank up. The better team will triumph.
5 ultimates to 3, and you lose the fight. I mean, not
What's your
great
analysis
there.
on that?
It's not great for Florida. It's a really nice Maywall from Haxall, though, that prevents any follow-up with that Graviton Surge. It looks like Swan trying to get in here to touch the point. He'll barely get a touch.
Gives enough time, though. Sire player actually catches Bumper unaware there, but Bumper's just going to fortify and move away. Throws up the shield. Hureg. Shadow forming away. BQB out of the mix already, by the way. No chance to have an impact on the Doomfist. Death Blossom completely shut down by the defense matrix, and that will be enough. Only a couple players left on the Mayhem, and really they'll try and touch. And honestly, Matt, you walk into a fight, you have 6 ultimates, you use 5, you don't have the chance to use your 6, and you still get absolutely rickrolled by the Titans.
It was the Hacksaw Maywall that was able to save them from, the Graviton Surge follow-up. The grab only lands with Johnny, who's playing Roadhog in that instance. So you didn't really have like you have a good target in it, but Roadhog usually will just take a breather. They use a sound barrier during the fight. Really no opportunity anyway to get something going. We'll see what changes come through here for Florida in terms of comps. They'll run Orisa with Roadhog. BQB will stay on May, and they're going to bring in a McCree here because it looks like you're going to have somewhat of a dive that comes out from the Titans, which is interesting. So you have Bumper on Wrecking Ball, and it looks like Johnny's still going to play Roadhog with 2 dive damage dealers. So you have the Sombra and Tracer in play. Don't let Bumper bump.
Yeah, he's gonna do it. Yeah. Listen! When you walk up to the bridge, you best be ready for this kind of shenanigans. Bumper, easy first kill on Swan of all people, who did not have the time to fortify to prevent himself from being knocked back. He just wasn't ready for it.
I think he got it, when he saw him flying off the side, I think he some fortified. That's just a bit unlucky.
Yes, we'll go with that. Mayhem going to set up here to try and make their way through the corridor, which definitely suits Orisa. She covers most of that gap with her shield, and they can walk up and early pick up BQB. Sire player! Sawyer, mate. That's the edge.
Bumper yet again. Looks like Bumper has picked up the Wrecking Ball quite well. If you remember back when they would play like solo tank compositions with the Wrecking Ball, it would really be John who picked up the Wrecking Ball duties. We'd see the fantastic Bumper Hanzo in play. To do that, they would have to make a substitution, move Bumper over to the damage dealer chair, give away those secrets of Bumper coming out on the Hanzo, but I'm sure Bumper,
closely guarded.
I'm sure Bumper keeps asking to sit in the damage dealer chair. Like, nope.
Eventually he's just going to sit there anyway. No one's, I think anyone's going to try and
big minefield here.
Yeah, Bumper tries to drop down though with a pile driver. The shield there looks like it prevents a lot of the knock-up from radiating out from the point of impact. Sire player is able to pick Slime off here, and this is the kind of player you want the McCree in the hands of. Flashbang thrown in by defense matrix, but Sire player has a lot of defensive zone to work with. He needs to watch his left side. But Gargoyle is doing that for him now. The McCree gets to reign supreme. Bumper drops back in though. Repel knocked over the edge.
The longer they stall this though, Hurek may have an EMP to come back and fight, but with Janu out of mech,
no way.
They're probably going to save this. Bumper's back in. Maybe they decide, they're going to use the EMP. They're going to go for it.
Hurek's there, but Bumper and Janu are going to fall very early on in the fight. Look at what Florida had to use though. Blizzard comes out.
Yeah.
Sound barrier also.
I mean, if you're, they use sound barrier here towards the end and Blizzard. I mean, they used everything else. So the Titans get 76%. They invest, what, an EMP towards the end there. They use 2 ults to get by it. You're going to come back with a sound barrier. Coalescence builds up really fast. Like, you're in a position where Vancouver can just flip this point right back.
Swan setting up so that he could potentially hold someone into the pit, but you'll see the Titans, they just stick very close to the wall out of range of that ability. See, Haxal's already got in here. Sound barrier onto 5 players. Haxal missed it, but he probably doesn't need it. Deadeye catches Haxal though. The one player who wasn't shielded up, and now Sire player doesn't have to worry about getting flanked or pushed from the side here. He can focus front and center. Repel dispensing healing, damage in equal amounts. Bumper and Janu holding the point. Sire player doesn't have much of it in here. Hurek's in trouble though. Oh! He tries to get for fair there, but he doesn't get it. Janu punishes him as well. That went about as bad as it possibly could have. And Bumper will control some more space on the point. Repel was caught by a hook. Bumper is hunting for Byram at the moment, and he's going to get him too. Swan remix only for a moment. Gargoyle another pick there, but he's on his own now. One Roadhog against the world. Blizzard dropped in though. Good timing for BQB. Lets that one go. Bumper, you can see Janu trying to keep him alive, protect him. Repel arrives with the healing, but Sire finds him. A long fight. This time the Florida Mayhem are benefiting from a protracted engagement. They're still in control of the point, and they're gaining on capture percentage. Sound barrier now. Bumper thinks better of it. He rolls on out.
And they use it. Sound barrier, only 2 people here. They're going to come and use a supercharger as well. As Sire player trying to line up the Deadeye. That'll be a sound barrier that comes in for the Titans as they're trying to flip this in a worse way.
So I play it back to the point again. Bumper rolls into that one, flashed and removed. Gargoyle was hacked for a moment. The supercharger, though, is going to go a long way. Definitely makes it easy for Sire player. Here comes a coalescence on Janu's trying to get up in his face. He's de-suited as a result. Janu flashed and removed now. This is bizarre from the Titans. Propel trying to play so aggressively, but so weak to McCree, who has so much stun power, and a headshot is enough with a supercharger to remove the Moira. 99% now for the Florida Mayhem, and the Vancouver Titans are just throwing whatever they can at the wall. But this man, he is the law around these here parts. And it'll just be Janu now to step up, try and stall Doomfist here for Huxal. Could have even seen that earlier on, might have been a decent pick on this map, but may not have a chance to really get to use it to its fullest. Meteor Strike, drop back down. BQB not affected by it, and that'll be the round. Florida even it up here on Lijiang Tower.
And this is a map where, you know, Florida, they looked really good in the previous round. They had 6 ultimates at one point. They were not able to win the fight, which would have been a fight that, you know, could have potentially changed that first round. Sire player comes out of the McCree here in our second point. Just
11 final blows.
Absolutely dominates. Yeah, just crushing on the McCree. Where the Titans, it seemed like towards the end, they started throwing in ultimates like crazy. At one point, though, Rain and Sire player, they use a sound barrier to keep both those players alive. They're able to hold on to the point for a while. So really nice plays, I think, from Sire player overall that round. You're going to need to see him do it again, though, if they're going to win the map.
He and Gargoyle combined for 22 eliminations. They have 11 each.
That's really strong.
That's very, very good. You can just see how strong the Roadhog is now. A pseudo third damage dealer. You know, his classification has always been a little bit gray area. You know, he pumps damage out. Yeah, I mean, he is a tank without a shield, so I guess, you know, still functions as one.
Where I think Brigitte, right, is like kind of, you look at her as like a potential like healer tank like hybrid, right? Like a lot of survivability. Roadhog is more of like the tank damage dealer hybrid. Is large HP pool, good damage output, good self-sustain.
Interesting, Batiste here for Rain. Immortality field is something he's going to try and leverage. Gargoyle's in trouble here. He's by a grenade. Can't get away. A lot of damage thrown in the choke, and Slive is the one dealing it. At least a big part of it. You can see 4 players are involved in the eliminations of Swan and Gargoyle. Everyone from Vancouver just focus firing quite nicely here.
How much damage, though, BQB puts down in the fight? And he's got a Blizzard already. Hacksal's at 50%, so gonna have that Blizzard rather quickly as we take a look at Slime's POV with the Toucan. Players just stuck up in the May wall, very weak. Go right past the Orisa shield. Nice play there from the main support of the Titans.
BQB has a 0.5 Blizzard efficiency. Is that to say that he's only getting half a person per Blizzard?
Yeah, they've done a nice job of like moving away from it, like Bumper using Fortify to get away, and then also they've kind of committed to a Lucio for a lot of this map, so being able to speed players out of it. Pretty, I don't want to say pretty easy to avoid, but much easier to.
Blizzard thrown in, Deadeye now from the back lines here. That is Hurek, but he's frozen. No chance to get use out of that one. Huxal is able to avoid. No one really gets killed from that one. He gets a few people frozen up here from the Titans, but with how far forward Bumper was positioned, the shield was up. Florida didn't even have a look in. Right now, yeah.
If you are Florida, though, you use Blizzard and they invested Deadeye, Deadeye Supercharger, Nano, and a sound barrier. Like, that is a pretty good trade. I think you take that if you're the Mayhem any day of the week. So you have potentially like an Amp Matrix here that you could drop down for Saya player to use, Supercharger as well. So we'll see if Florida can do a better job of comboing these ultimates to get the point back.
Blizzard whole hog for Vancouver. Okay, so conditionally incredibly powerful because people held in place mean that the spread of whole hog can be controlled by Johnny. We can get max damage. That's the Blizzard. Oh, so many people are caught in the Blizzard! All of Florida Mayhem! Put him in the morgue! They're ice cold. Just gonna be Swan set up on the point now, and he's gonna get jumped on by everyone on the Vancouver Titans side of things. There's still 4 players up. That was an effective Blizzard from Haxel.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the final fight as Vancouver will take the point, they will take the map as the Titans use that Hacksaw Blizzard there towards the end to put the map away.
And definitely some chaotic play. The Vancouver Titans getting, I guess they're relaxing a little bit on you know, the previously very formulaic, very rehearsed style of 3-3. The throwing a bunch of ultimates, letting individuals sort of decide when to deploy their, you know, their game-changing abilities and have a bit of fun with it here. Not bad from the Florida Mayhem, but they're going to need a little bit more in map 2 in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Готовности. Get in there. Get in there. Apagando las luces.
Meteor strike!
You know, stage final wins are nice, right? They look good. You know, you can get them on a plaque if you really want them. You get a bit of extra cash. Looking at what's on the Titans' feet, they don't really need that. They only care about being the champions of the Overwatch League. They want a pennant like the Spitfires. They want to be there to capture history for themselves. And this game is another step in that direction. Way is being paved, and they are looking pretty darn good so far. A little bit chaotic earlier on, but remember that Janu is a candidate. For MVP vote, you can vote for any of our candidates. Hashtag OWLMVP. So it goes hashtag OWLMVP at Ubershouts, and then you put the name of the player.
I
just so
believe,
you know.
I
That's how you
believe
do
that
it.
when you read the lower third, that you are not a candidate.
No, yeah, but you just like it won't register it unless you put at Ubershouts after the hashtag.
Yep.
It just look, it's machine learning.
Potentially a lie there.
Prove it.
I'll let you guys figure that out.
Yeah, prove it. Do it anyway and see what happens.
The series Lijiang Tower goes in favor of the Titans. 2-1 though. The Mayhem were able to take a point. They looked good on the first point, and then I think once they used all their ultimates, didn't win, kind of fell apart. So
Matt, how egregious is that to have 6 ultimates?
it's pretty
still
bad. I mean, when the other team's got 3 ultimates, you know, kind of thinking about it in between the break, it's like, well, you know, like Florida, like you know, they're bringing in some new players, but this also is a new meta, so it's kind of like a reset for everybody.
Gotcha.
So you kind of really don't know.
Yeah, we rely on a lot of stats from the last 3 stages, and we have to realize that some of them are not really relevant.
This could be
anymore.
good for Florida, though. You get Saya player on the Widowmaker. I think anytime you can get him on that pick.
They're expecting
Like
Axel Genji here. We see the Brig from Bio. They're expecting some kind of dive.
So the thing is that this allows Bumper, though, to play the Winston because they're not playing a Roadhog on defense. Like if they had like Roadhog, Junkrat, like you really don't want to play Winston into that. It'd be kind of tough. Here, though, you do have the Junkrat, and even Brig is like an interesting mix into this. This is a composition we saw last year a lot, obviously. Now Brig in play. We saw Ana in that spot, but now Brig, you can play her up on the bridge. She can be kind of like a scout for Sombra in a way. Like you see where Byron's playing on the Brig. He can just swing in that doorway and prevent Vancouver from coming in.
It doesn't cost him anyway to hold down his mouse 1 button and just swing.
He's hacked though right now.
Axel down, Saya player. Remember, deadly Widowmaker on the Florida Mayhem backline, and he is well protected.
Janu somehow on Diva snuck his way behind
How is he not given
Saya
away
player
his
here.
position?
I have no clue.
So he's actually down and to the right of where Saya player is right now.
And he's in mech. It's not like he was demeched and ended up in this spot.
With
He's going to be able to go from the backside here. Turek gets a hack on the rain at the beginning, so the Mercy can't fly. That'll be an easy kill.
So nice. Johnny can fly in from the back. He can throw up a defense matrix to make it hard for Saya Play to hit Bumper as he jumps in and then just get in there with extra damage. But still, Saya Play's got 2 kills, man. 2 headshots even. Johnny desuited. And yeah, the Titans, the idea was good, but this guy's just an X-Factor. He's going to throw your plans into chaos.
But you can't like you can't win consistently, like just like, oh, well, you know, our Mercy and our Junk will go down right away, and it's all right because Saya player will just like kill 3. It's just not like you can't rely that much on one guy to get the job done here.
Saya player left upon there by a primal rage Bumper. Able to avoid him pretty deftly, but Rain is not so lucky. Bumper able to grab him and finish him off King Kong style. BQB with the Riptide already. He's looking for, honestly, well, more than 0 is what he was looking for. I'll give you the big tip. Doesn't get it. Gargoyle, though, follows up on Bumper. D.Va now starting to really do some damage, or use as a damage dealer in this meta. And Urek hits a big EMP. Big enough anyway, late in the fight. It makes life very hard for Swan and Gargoyle to do anything about this. And Bumper's brought back to life. The Titans haven't necessarily got this one wrapped up. There's a Junkrat and a Brigitte on the point here. You can see Haxal have to deal with Byram. This is not a matchup you really want to take as the Genji. It's a little bit tough. Haxal does not commit to it as a result. Swan's a much easier target for him to fight, and he dispatches him. There's the cleanup crew. And that's a fight done.
They are going to get a res here on the BQB on the point alone. He won't last much longer than that.
If they get Rain, this could be a huge
he's going to get out. You do have the fast response on the Assault now, so it's not as easy to snowball. The side player switches over to McCree here for the second point, but Nano Blade available, no support ultimates here for the Mayhem.
Here it is, Haxal, it's time, baby! Looking for his target, Byram is in his way. He doesn't want to try and fight it, but he can't get to Sire player either, so Haxal's forced to, well, eat his greens, essentially. He gets rid of Swan. Byram's there. Oh, why do I have to keep fighting this Genji? This Brig, he says to himself. Bump with the primal rage, so no one was really paying attention. He is trapped. He got BQB though. A couple more kills and the Titans are on the road to a good fight here. Gargoyle is low. Byram pops the rally here. Extra healing in a pinch and the EMP catches 5. Hureg, that really hurts the Florida Mayhem right now. That's a Riptide. He gets rid of Bumper. Self-destruct in the backside, catches BQB. Janu does work there, getting rid of the Junkrat.
And the res comes in on the Bumper as well.
Titans down to 5. Bumper's still in a position to contest. He has no primal currently, and Sire player is still well protected here. That is definitely a question that's going to have to be answered by the Titans. They need to get rid of this
back out here. If you're the Titans, you can back out here, repel very close to another Nano. You can play again for one of these blades. They're going to lose some of the stagger here coming out here. As Florida's going to push up. I mean, they tried to push up back out to the choke. Did Vancouver? I just don't think they expected Florida to be that aggressive with the chase.
Swan on the Winston here. We might see him switch back to Orisa. Okay, bit of a mix-up. Okay, the May here. Again, another thing that Haxal really doesn't want to try and fight against. I mean, there are so many threats.
Ryan D.Va into the Orisa May. I want to see, maybe, do you want a Nano Bumper? Like, is that the play here? Like, I look, give away the Nano Blade.
Who's Haxal going for, I guess?
Well, okay, so here's your thing. You could Nano Bumper to, like, bait out, like, Rally and some other ultimates, and then let Haxal just go without the Nano. So, let's see. It's going to be Bumper who gets split up with that May wall.
Look at Repel's crosshair placement. He's definitely keeping it centered over Bumper right now. It does indicate an intent to Nano boost him. Repel just checking his flank. No one's actually there. So the Titans have this whole side of the point map. All of the Mayhem are on the left.
Gargoyle could be setting up for a really nice self-destruct here. He's like on the bottom, gonna try and launch into the backside here.
Yeah, Genji Sombra, baby! Haxal in, gets rid of BQB early, and yeah, Rain wasn't gonna get away with that one either. Just waiting on the EMP. Sire player walks headfirst into a deflect, has to go back to spawn. Can't really peek out of that too much now, and this will be some capture progress for sure for the Titans. From the right side will be BQB. From the left will be Byram trying to come here on the Brigitte. Blizzard? No! He lost it! BQB dies before he can actually get used to that ultimate, and that really hurts. That's a great stall mechanic even to turn to fight around, and Bumper's on the Reinhardt. He's a happy man, swinging and charging. All he's got to do. See Gargoyle now trying to dive deep into the backline. Perhaps he was looking for Slide, who pops Valkyrie just to stay out of arm's reach. Bumper knocked to the low ground, very annoying for a Reinhardt. He's got to go around the long way, but the rest of his team is standing up in his absence. Gargoyle is down. Byram trying to get to the point. He doesn't make it there. And the Vancouver Titans play Reinhardt D.Va with a Genji Sombra DPS line to break point B.
Yeah, it's a very interesting setup there on offense from the Titans to finally break it. Bumper using the Reinhardt as a damage dealer, just going in, swinging the hammer. You rarely saw the shield up, but good blade from Haxal at the end. Eventually, you know, you get those blades from him. He's going to come through. We'll see Vancouver on defense after this quick break.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
وريهم قوتك.
I'm feeling unstoppable. This will protect us.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Heroes never die. Handle that music. I'm out of here. Die sterben nicht. You're powered up. Get in there.
A Titans versus Mayhem matchup. This is a place for the weird, the wacky, and the downright head scratcher plays. The Titans managed to finish Anubis with about 1 minute and 3 seconds on the clock. Some definitely some weird moments towards the end of that attacking round.
Well, so towards the end, you know, I actually was, I like to look at the overhead map when we watch this. And one of the plays, I see Bumper really low, and I saw Saya player come over here, and then so Saya player dies, and I was like, what happened?
The timing.
So he gets the timing on the shield, it drops the pulse bomb, and then Saya player blows himself up with it, and Bumper lives somehow. It's just
That is getting worked in the neutral.
oh yeah, sometimes it's better to be a little bit lucky.
So obviously, yeah, if there's
Bumper
anything
would tell you he planned that probably.
if there's any projectiles that persist, so Sonic Arrow is one, Pulse Bomb is one. If it hits a Reinhardt shield, it'll embed itself or stick itself to it. But if you drop the shield, it'll fall to the ground, and then you can put your shield back up. It's quite often with Sonic Arrows as well. You can drop the shield. The Sonic Arrow still stays and still gives you that information.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, I just hit my toe. I was like, somebody clipped that. I was like, something happened there. Because he had Pulse Bomb, he didn't have Pulse Bomb, and then he was just dead. And Bumper was just jumping up and down with his shield out. So now the Titans, they'll be on defense. They'll run Widow Genji on defense. So a lot of teams running the Widowmaker with some other, you don't really need the Junkrat here because you have the Roadhog, right? So you have the damage, output up on the bridge. They decide now, Florida on offense, to run the Orisa Hog. So really playing around picks with 2 snipers in play for their damage dealers. And then you have the Orisa Hog, so for the Hall Hook combos.
Reasonably reliable composition, but one that does depend on you getting those first picks. So despite that, the Mayhem is still going to move up to the right-hand side. Just need a big QB or try and use that little ledge up there for Sonic Arrows and getting shots in, but there's a lot of risk. You have to cross over, an Orisa and a Roadhog. Obviously, Widowmaker just trying to get damage. And Haxal is going to get up close and personal.
They're going to push them out of here. You see this rotation is they know there's no Orisa shield here to like protect anybody. They push up, they get another pick here, so they get one on a Rain. Now it allows them to go back, set up on the mid-bridge. They know they have the time to do so because they're not going to push in without the Mercy. So really good start here for the Titans.
Sonic Arrow there does tell the Mayhem a lot. Yeah, Sire player got great use out of that. Nicely done by BQB, just sent it into the pillar. But Hureg's able to spring forward after it, so to get the counter snipe, BQB is going to be brought back to life. And Sire play will stay back. He'll stay back on that main ledge. And that's why the Titans have to be very careful about where they stand. Like, Haxal's trying to break line of sight as much as he can. Time for the nano blade. No, it could be a hold as well. This could be nasty, but he gets hit with a Bardic Grenade right at the beginning. Still able to find Byram, and he goes upstairs! Gets himself 3! And that's just the Haxal we've come to expect.
There's so much emotion in that play. Like, at first, you see it happening, and the halt comes through, and you're just like, oh my god, he's going to destroy everybody. And then for a second, you're like, oh man, Bard is good. They're going to live. And then just a quick jump up to the high ground. It's like, they're definitely not good now, as he just hacks through a bunch of players. 7 Dragon Blade kills so far on this map. Poor Haxal is...
Yikes.
How happy is he, probably? I mean, he was great for Gita. but I'm sure he is much happier to be doing this now.
Up,
he
man.
gets a long-range
Up.
kill. As, you get a little too aggressive there as he dashes on through, but Vancouver, they don't care. They're going to move right up into the choke, for instance.
Ureg, man, he is hitting shots, no doubt about it. Obviously, the Holt is assisting. Ureg finding these connections, but as soon as a forward of Mayhem, they get like one pick, and they think it's time to go. The Vancouver Titans are ready. They've still got so many threats. Repel finds Byron there. He just lobbed that Vita grenade in, by the way. That was nasty. It also connected with BQB, who was in no real danger. Janu's down. That's resurrectable. Byron is back in the fight now. Gargoyles used his whole hog to create some space. That's all he could do. Trying to get rid of the supercharger now, but Bumper's trying to hold him in place. Raw slime. Risky jump across. He's in Valkyrie here. He's trying to keep Bumper alive, and it's very hard to connect a hook with a Mercy in Val. She's moving very quickly in 3 dimensions.
The supercharger, though, prevents them from pushing on through. They actually use a nano boost on a Swan there as well. That'll be 2 kills. Do you invest?
Do you go Nanoblade?
Nanoblade here.
Save the
How
fight?
confident do you? Oh,
You better
go
believe
real
it!
good.
Get in there! Sire player's down. Dash gets us on the rain as well. That's 2. He's looking for another. Trust Haxel to save the day. There's still some more work to be done. But the Mayhem have been cut in half. Literally.
All right, here we go.
Haxel chilled. He's hanging out with that bird bath.
Florida's going to do it.
Johnny put to sleep here. Decent bit of stall, I guess, but yeah, that seems to be about it. Haxel is still around. Bumper wants to try and contest. This is an interesting decision from him. He gets blown up immediately, though. Headshot there. Damage boost, of course. Haxel just dodging the hook with a double jump. Oh, the Titans. So much skill.
It's Hureg now switches over. He'll play Sombra, but that got scary there for a second. You can tell how much they trust Haxel to make a play with the Nano Blade.
Bro,
And he comes through with it towards the end.
Haxel Blades, I'm going to yell if he gets no kills. You just know it's going to be big.
And Florida did a nice shot there. They were like spread out. Nobody really trying to like clump up with each other, but it's just the use of the dash is so good from Haxel.
Rappel actually is getting first blood in a couple of these last few fights here. Playing a bit
Lime on the
aggressively.
Brigitte now.
Chunk of damage, but he needs to back away. Rain can just sight through the shield with the flail. That's pretty good. That supercharger got hacked. Oh, cheeky Hureg actually hacked the supercharger manually. Very nice tech. There's a whole hog here for Gargoyle. Might try to break down the shield here, but he is vulnerable when using it. He needs to hope that Swan's shield will persist. Rappel can't see much here. A little bit frustrating for him. He doesn't want to push ahead of the ice wall. That's a bit dangerous for him. Fighting grenade thrown to the ground. Doesn't actually hit his teammates here. That might hurt the pucks. Oh, another blade. Yeah, he pulls it out a little bit later on. Where do I go? The brick. Yeah. Plenty of venom in that kill. Oh, how about this one too?
He just knows the perfect targets. Like he sees that the whole hog is being used on the other side. Instead of like dashing in right away, he's able to just circumvent that ability and then just go right in with a nice dash on a bow support.
How many teams do you think are getting real consistent value out of Genji right now in this
Not
meta?
a ton. Not a ton. I mean, you only really can play it if you have somebody this good. Because, I mean, you're really playing... I mean, Genji's not played right now as... like, it was a little bit like last year, right? This year, you're playing really heavy around those nano blades, that if you're not getting value out of the nano blade...
It's 2 ults for nothing.
Look, Dragon Blade kills for Haxel. He's got 12. He's got 17 final blows total. Like, most of his work is coming from that Dragon Blade.
But he's getting Dragon Blade so frequently. It's not that he's not getting kills with Shuriken dashes. Wow, Gargoyle. Tough day at the office, huh?
Well, effectively, right? I mean, if you really wanted to like go into it, he's getting a blade every a minute 15 seconds, and he's killing almost 3 people per blade. So every about, let's call it a minute 25, he's basically getting a half team lane. So that, I would consider that pretty decent value.
And 9 times out of 10, that's enough. Hureg. This is gonna hurt. Oh, Rain is looking. Ooh, Hureg's sweating. Sees that flail swing past. You'll never catch me alive, fam. Gets the hack on Swan.
Knows they gotta back up.
Oh, no. Well, you stay too long at the scene of the crime, you're gonna get nabbed. Big bite grenade, though. Massive stuff. Rappel's having a fantastic game. An example of a rare kill from Haxel that doesn't involve the Dragon Blade.
You know what I like too? When they use the halt hook combo and they connect with somebody, you see Haxel go straight through with a dash to provide that extra damage. If they get the kill, he has the opportunity to dash forward again, use a blade, and then get a 3rd dash potentially. So really nice use of Genji's dash resetting abilities from Haxel.
All right, Floridians, get your overalls on. It's time to get serious. Haxel, oh, that's gross. I can't. Haxel trying to get one last hit on towards Ray, but it just don't matter. He was distraction and executioner all in one.
I love the celebration from Vancouver. They all just look at Hacksaw and just start clapping, and he's like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "It's all good, fam."
The virtuoso of Genji returns. He gets to soak it up. He deserves it. Good performance here so far from the Vancouver Titans, and an expected lead going into halftime. The Florida Mayhem, a tough first assignment here in Stage 4. They've got a chance to bring it back, though. We'll see how they do that on the other side of halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
وريهم قوتك.
I'm feeling unstoppable. This will protect us.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Heroes never die. Handle advances. I'm out of here. Sie sterben nicht. You're powered up. Get in there. Heroes never die.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
We got a battle between first place and last place. And so far, it's going exactly as you might expect it. It's all Vancouver so far. They're up 2-0 over the Mayhem at the break. What's up, everybody? You already know what it is. It's halftime. We're here to break down what just went down, which is basically Vancouver shutting down the Florida Mayhem.
Yep.
Vancouver doing what we expect them to do as the #1 team.
Wow.
Guys,
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
where to start, man. There was just so much action from the Vancouver side.
I know exactly where to start. Map 1.
Map
So
1.
what
All right,
a
let's do it.
beautiful place to begin.
Lijiang Tower. Let's
Great
go
place to
on
begin,
then
you know?
to Lijiang. What did you guys see in this first map that stood out to you?
Some promising signs from Florida. They started out doing okay, but I think Vancouver were playing with their food a little bit once we got, especially to stage 2, where Florida actually ended up taking the win. But Vancouver are running different stuff here. They're running the Reaper, the May. It's the same kind of stuff that we've seen from other teams, but this is a new look from Vancouver, especially this, the bumper wrecking ball, which you don't normally see.
Don't see it all, really.
You don't see it. It's a very
Jamming
rare
just like
specimen.
it's over to it, right? But in this case, I mean, a 2-2-2 lock, it necessitates terrible things, such as the bumper wrecking ball, unfortunately.
He wasn't too bad with it, honestly.
no.
Yo, that
it was
part
bad.
where he was swinging in circles in the middle of the point, man. Like,
Yeah, high skill.
That was an A strategy right there. I love it, man. I love
Like
it.
me in my rank games, honestly.
Yeah, it seems like the Vancouver. I actually thought that this game had a possibility of being a little bit closer. You know,
Yeah.
I was hoping that
Map
we
1
might see
was
something.
reasonably close.
It was, yeah. Map 2 was just Haxel pooping on.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into that because Hoxo, young Hawkin Slash, as I like to call him, he was going in. Crazy, man.
Yeah, we decided to just make this the Haxel show. A little bit of Who right here and there sprinkled in just for a bit of flavor. But
Just to set up Haxel.
just to set up Haxel, really. I mean, this guy is just phenomenal. What more do you want to say about him?
Well,
freak of nature is how I would describe him.
He really is.
And many other players.
He's got a huge amount of Genji played this season, and he also has an outrageous amount of Dragon Blade kills. At one point, he had 15 kills overall, and 10 of them from Blades. He's getting like 2 or 3 every time when he's playing against Florida here. And he's got the third highest Dragon Blade efficiency out of everybody in the league. Well, he was previously at #1. It's just that Profits had a ridiculous game recently and overtook him.
Yeah, he might be back at #1 if he keeps playing like this. But I mean, 3 devs to his name.
Oh wow!
50 Dragon Blade kills.
What do you
can
do?
You say? The guy's a freak. Like he's the best Genji in the world.
Yeah, it's just hard to stop anything like that. I mean, the guy gets his blade so fast, and then he's taking out half the team every time.
It doesn't really help that Florida see him coming and just run away. Like, they're clearly very scared of the Dragon Blade when it comes in, whereas they have tools to deal with it, right? Like, they have a sleep, they have a Bionade, they have Bash when they were running the
Well, not when he's
Brigitte
nano boosted, though, as well.
Sure.
Like,
You can still sleep him.
Nope. Can't be done. Can't be done.
He's resistant.
I feel like
He's
running
very
away
smart, though.
I feel like running away is never the answer when dealing with a blade, but that's just my opinion. All right, so going into the second half, we got Blizzard World coming up next. Can Florida find some momentum on this?
Here we go. Right, I'm feeling it.
You feeling it?
I read my tea leaves this morning when I was having my daily cup of tea, and I'm feeling I'm at 5. I don't know what it is.
Wait, what?
7 on the wind.
We both said, you know, coming in.
Wait. You're dead serious.
Yeah, we told the casters this is going to a map 5.
I have a feeling. There's something about it.
Blizzard World's Junkertown. This is going to be for both of those maps. It's going to be the 3rd time that Florida Mayhem have ever won those maps. I can feel it in my bones, deep in my bones.
Okay.
We're going to a map 5.
All right, you guys are giving them map 5. Yo, Blizzard Arena, are we going to map 5?
You could ask them anything, Malik. They'll just cheer. They are sheep.
They're behind the Florida Mayhem. I like it. I like it.
That's
All
rude.
right.
Boo this man. You don't let him get away with calling you sheep. Boo him. Boo him.
Yes.
Turn into a pantomime.
Proven my point exactly.
All right, well, the Vancouver Titans are up 2-0. 1 map away from securing this match. We'll see if the Florida Mayhem can get back into this one on Blizzard World when we come back.
I started watching some streams of the pros, and the pros were amazing. And one of the biggest guys I saw was awesome was Hydration. He was part of the Gladiators.
Suddenly I'm at every game, and
the beautiful LEDs, the cheers of the crowd.
It shields up. It's thunderous applause. It's roaring in the arena. It's a lot of clap, clap, stomp, stomp. You just kind of get sucked into it.
And I've been hooked ever since.
You're powered up. Get in there. You're powered up. Get in there. Cease your resistance.
He got 3 for that one. Keo down. A Dragon Blade. Axel brings it to bear. Down in there. All right. Nano Blade.
Can he do it?
Grenade
He's getting
already
kills.
on them.
He can indeed. There's go Gushue. Adora, welcome back, Haksal.
At least somebody can get in, get out. Here's the blade. Oh, they're all tied together. Haksal, 2 for 1. We take that deal any day of the week.
Haksal, a legend on Genji.
Someone clip that for me right at the start of that, the Haksal cringe, because I mean that's what it feels like watching you just wreck people with Dragon Blade. I get lucky, I get to cast one of those Dragon Blades. All I do is yell, so you know, hope it doesn't ruin the specialness of the form.
We've had a lot of like special Genji players just come through like the Overwatch scene in general, but just the way he gets value with the blade, like the way he uses it, like. You remember like old school like Shadowburn, right? Like he used to be pretty sick. You see his first and final play with Brigitte.
Yes.
I would not say Brigitte and Genji share the same abilities in their kit.
Listen,
or have anything in common
It's,
whatsoever.
honestly, you have shield bash, you have a dash, your Dragon Blade is basically your mouse one. Is you feel about as powerful to get nano boosted.
But the way he just uses the blade, it's just incredible how he always seems to get something with it. We do have a sub.
Sorry, when you guys were out there trying to farm social media follows, he was out there studying the blade. Here's Fate coming in now for Florida Mayhem to replace Swan.
Yeah, so he comes in the main tank role. He comes over from the LA Valiant in a trade about halfway through the season. We saw him get a lot of play in the previous stage, and you know, Swan coming into the game. It didn't seem to work out, so you'll bring in Fate here for Blizzard World.
Obviously now heading into our hybrid map in this series. Somehow I still don't think we're going to see Reinhardt again. I think it was a very niche approach. Florida Mayhem. We do expect to see the ice fishing, at least from one side here. And by that I mean May, Roadhog, and Orisa.
So, let's see what Vancouver decides to do on offense. I mean, they
think
could
we
play
see-
this really like pick-heavy
Not
comp.
this permutation though.
No, not with Haksal and the Widow. I believe it's usually the other
Bump
way
is there
around,
like,
but-
yo, if you're letting Hureg play Hanzo, I get Hanzo next map.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, maybe they feel strongly with Hureg on Hanzo and then Haksal on the Widow.
Oh, I'm gonna get Wolf from me. You're like, bitch, you didn't know that Haksal was a Widowmaker main back in Apex season. Sorry,
well,
Wolf,
maybe
sorry.
It's, oh no, it's okay. So he goes out, just takes a shot and then switches to mace. This makes sense.
All right. So similar composition. The only real difference here is that we see Vayne on the Batiste a fair bit from the Florida Mayhem so far. Maybe they're trying to do something a little bit like what the Shock attempted to do in Stage 3. With the Batiste play. Oh, well. Got him.
Clean kill there off that hold hook combo as Florida plays this extremely close. They don't want to give any space to Vancouver here. So I feel like, yeah, you know, you start giving Vancouver space, you give them some of the high ground potential on the side, makes it a little bit harder for even Saya player to find some looks. Maywall there that comes in from Haksal, not a great one, so you probably want to wait for that to come off on cooldown before you start to push on forward.
What do you do here? I mean, it's tough. You can't just wall one side and walk up. Wow. There's no mercy on the side of the Florida Mayhem, by the way.
Or
That
you
is
just burn down Fate's shield.
That is egregious. You cannot allow this to happen. Recovering from that is going to be difficult. There is a sleep dart on the bumper, though, so that buys the Mayhem a little bit of time. Fate's now respawned. There's a little bit of a long walk back here. The Titans looking for at least one pick in the meantime, and I like this from the Mayhem. Back off the point, give up the progress.
The
That's how it
angle
goes.
here for Saya player is really poor, though, once they take stock on the point. You see Saya player, the little
they know he's there
outline
too.
coming around. It's just going to be the maze stall to get on for BQB.
All right, almost complete capture there, and Rain gets picked off immediately here. This is what happens, you know, if you allow your main tank just to get picked off at no expense to your opponents. They're just spamming in. And now with this stagger, Fate being staggered very badly, there's going to be a bit of free payload progress here. The Mayhem would like to play close on the next phase of the map, but they can't.
Well, you'll get the payload around that first corner where you see a lot of teams like to set up and play extremely aggressive on the defensive side of things. And because that fight exists for so long, no ultimates have to be used by the Titans to win it either. Rain switches off of Batiste, now back over to the Batiste. So
you didn't want ult, it's fine.
Went over to Mercy for a sec as they just try to get the res in. But let's see what comes out of this next fight.
This is the closest Gargoyle gets to play. Wall is blocked up.
There's a nice block on the hook.
A bit of free damage on Gargoyle. Hureg already has his Dragon Strike though, so it's not like he's trying to use it as a battery. See if he just tries to, you know, split up the Mayhem before they go in here. Blizzard placed not very far forward. Oh, the Dragon Strike coming through. That's filthy. No one's going to be caught by that one. Fate goes down, but that was from Hureg's arrows, not the Dragon itself. And I don't think Rain realized what was going on, or he just knew he couldn't do a thing about it. He was trying to keep Fate alive. This is not a great start for Florida.
And you get the Nano May in play there as Haxel was able to push the cart for a bit in Ice Block because everybody's trying to get away from it. They're trying to get away from the Dragon as he's just blocked up on the cart. Just gonna move on forward, get some progress.
As DPS plays improve, May's becoming a really consistent source of high damage because she has no fall off on her icicles. Yes, there is a lead time, but there is lead time for Genji as well. So for Haxel, he's probably, I believe it's, yeah, it's not a long lead time in, so he's probably feeling like he's kind of used to having to lead his projectiles anyway.
That's just a little bit more damage at range, right? Johnny will get rid of the supercharger, so that big Orisa ultimate goes down, and that's going to be a halt.
Another one!
They halt, and then Blizzard. That is so sick. Look,
I could just see shoulders slumping on the Mayhem side of the stage.
You guys got the clock at the top of your screen. You don't need me to tell you, this is fast. I mean, this is fast. I mean, Saya gets killed there. It's, Haxel is pushed up to the spawn, dude. Spawn camp. It's going to be Fate frozen on the point. He does get nanoed on his Wrecking Ball, just trying to live for a little bit.
That's why I asked about the ponchos in the front row, because this may have been a slaughter, and it's turning out to be one so far.
Florida may be able to hold on here, though.
Blizzard here. Janu will be able to get away from that one, so they can stabilize. Haxel will try and walk away. He won't escape.
All right, but they do. They'll have a nano boost for the next fight. Maybe you'll have Fate go back and switch over to Orisa. You probably don't want like the Wrecking Ball here towards the end. Yeah, they'll go Orisa Hog again. You do have so here for Vancouver though, you can use the Dragon to split players off into, let's say, the Blizzard when it comes up. You're gonna get Blizzard really quick, okay? But that way Haxel is doing it, you know, just one or two icicles to a player, and he'll be able to build that ultimate up.
Bump could be in trouble here.
Halt into Dragon, separates the tanks.
Immortality field's thrown down though. Bumper gets rid of that, but Dragon doesn't achieve too much. Johnny's brought back to life, but the Bumper gets hooked in, so they gain one, lose one. Nice Blizzard there. No hold to really set that one up here. Fate had a shield for some of that period of time, and they may have kept him alive long enough. He gets Nano Boost now to mitigate some of that damage. Johnny hooked in. He actually gets Gargoyle.
They nano the Mercy.
Youngblood, don't hook first.
Repel goes to try and nano Janu. He nanos the Mercy as the Mercy is flying away.
So worth bearing in mind as well is that May's primary fire on an endothermic blaster is actually AoE. You can freeze up multiple people at a time. It's not always easy to do, but you saw an example of it there from BQB.
Florida coming alive a little bit. So Rain will have the Amp Matrix. You're going to have another Blizzard here from BQB, so...
Oh, the wall!
Wall blocks some of that, but you know, they would have just ran around the corner. Not wanting to take any damage from this Amp Matrix, so just buys the Mayhem some more time.
BQB, I mean, firing through the Amplification Matrix is devastating. A lot of damage there. Sire players ripping some snorters here. Over the top. Nothing there. It's going to be a supercharger. Sorry, from Bumper now. Blizzard from BQB. That's got to get the supercharger, so fair enough. The Dragon Strike now, and there's not really anywhere for the Mayhem to run on this point, so they're going to have to eat a little bit of this damage. Another Immortality field thrown out by Rain. Bumper hooked in. BQB about to get frozen. He's taken down. Haxel very efficient in removing. Also, that Immortality field after the fact. The Blizzard to follow up now. Gargoyle has to work from the fringes of it. He does well to get a kill for himself, but Haxel shuts down Rain before he can do anything with his own Amplification Matrix. Gargoyle still lives, but eventually drops, and that'll do it. The Titans, strong start. Slowed up a little bit there in the middle, but they do get the job done.
They're able to get the payload across the line at the end. It was a pretty good defensive stand from the Mayhem at the later half of the game.
It's like a minute 21 in the bank for Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, at one point they had 4 minutes to work with. So the Mayhem start to come alive towards the end of their defensive stand. It's still a lot of time, though, for Vancouver to work with. We'll see if Florida can bounce back on offense after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
I feel like that last half map was a really good example of why we're seeing heroes like May, heroes like Roadhog, and Orisa here. Not only the picks, you know, it's easy to get picks with them, but controlling space on a lot of these escort or payload-based maps that often end in these small cul-de-sacs. Really good opportunities to get value. A lot of people frozen up and get an easy fight win.
And at the beginning of the match, it was, well, this map, the whole match, it was really Vancouver who was able to take advantage and get those first pickoffs. Where you start to saw Florida like come alive towards the end of the map, you know, on their point C defense. Although Vancouver does complete the map, they still, you know, shave like 2-3 minutes off the clock. Was when they were starting to get those first pickoffs. It's just so important. This time, Vancouver on defense, it looks like they were going to control the high ground. Now it looks like they're going to play from the same spot that we saw the Mayhem play.
Zarya for Gargoyle.
Do you play Ball Zarya with
You have to explain this to me.
Well, let's see if they actually roll out with it. It looks like Gargoyle in the spawn. It looks like they may just be checking to see what they're running. Okay, so they'll run the D.Va here to potentially eat the halts that come through.
So you'd rather have D.Va to cancel halts instead of Roadhog to capitalize on them?
I think when you're like not playing the May in this instance, you need some kind of defensive ability against the halt. You are running the...
Defend that!
Doesn't really work there. You are running the Zen, though, so it does make you pretty vulnerable in terms of the support line. So if they were running, let's say, like a D.Va, or maybe you had Hacksaw Genji come out here, you did need some kind of peel, some protection for Byram.
Well, 45 seconds have elapsed, and it was all just really one engagement, a brief one. Florida lose BQB, he's plucked out of their midst.
Well, I think you end up with a little bit of a slower game when you get Roadhog in it as well, because of just his one-shot potential with the hook. And then I think it just becomes amplified when you add in May, you add in the halts, right? Like, a lot of potential to set up Roadhog for these insta-kills. So it makes everybody a little bit more cautious.
Axel, maybe didn't realize it was potentially defending Hurek there by being an ice block and blocking any projectiles. All right, left side looks like the play for the Florida Mayhem. Hold. No hook. Keep an eye on where Hurek is positioned now. Sire player knows this, so be surprised if Hurek tries to challenge. Axel now multiple angles of damage here. Biotic grenade being fed to him by Repel. Who I reiterate, look very good this series on the Ana. Already a Transcendence available for Byram here. Oh, great hold. Bumper. Oh, just gets out there. Give it a nano boost there just to make sure he stays alive. Repel was the one that handled that one over. Bumper would love to get a supercharger here. It's actually one of the most impactful ultimates in terms of a team fight. You mentioned it a couple of times, Matt. Next to EMP.
Janu just coming around the opposite side. I mean, he hooks Byram, kills him, and then Gargoyle stands in the same spot, gets hooked in D-Max. Like, gotta be a bit better than that there.
The issue is that there are... Yeah, okay. This was where BQB and Rain were set up now. They were behind, but they staggered themselves here.
And the way Johnny's moving around the map, you would think he's playing Sombra. He's invisible. Like Roadhog just kind of roaming around, getting these pickoffs.
Right now, he's not protecting his team from damage. He's going and getting kills.
It's a big pick, though. As Saya player takes out Hurek. Now you have some more players coming back. It's going to be difficult to get this res off. Yeah, Saya player. Big picks to open up the fight.
Yeah. Looking like a pretty brutal
fight. You know, though, if you get solo whole hog, you know you're in a good
Saya player is 42% scoped critical hit accuracy.
Yeah.
42!
I mean, the guy is sick. I mean, he's a sick player.
What?
Yeah, I mean, his Widow is nuts. I think it also kind of goes to show that, like, Hurek, very good, like, counter sniper, and the fact that Saya player has, like, completely dominated the game. Because we've seen Saya player just completely dominate.
I mean, Hurek's only had 2 final blows this whole map, though. Let's bear that in mind. Saya player is 7-4 in terms of kills to deaths. I mean, but you're not really coming into this one trying to beat Saya player, maybe, like, you know, in the Widow to Widow game. You're just accepting being able to, you know, have an impact over the map in general.
Yeah, now you've also seen Hurek play a decent amount of like Hanzo this map as well.
So he's waiting for someone to flank. Haxal is expecting someone to try and flank, ideally like a Gargoyle or even maybe BKB. Getting ready with the wall. Hold. Janu trying to heal himself up, gets out of it. Supercharge is still intact as well. Janu doesn't have his take a breather on cooldown though right now, so he just needs to be careful. Hurek thinking about making the play here, but Gargoyle takes down Bumper.
You'll rest this.
Fate in trouble. Oh, he's getting away from that one. Haxal's Blizzard was more of a zoning tool by the looks of things. I know that's, I mean...
When are you going to use this Transcendence that Byram's built up? Like, you have it. Are you going to use it to try and, like, push on forward? Or, like, what is the idea around that?
How good is it really here when you have a Widow and a Roadhog who obviously can eliminate targets without opportunities for healing?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Biotic Grenade as well
like
for Repel.
Emergency, yeah, Repel on the high ground with the Biotic Grenade, so...
It doesn't feel great.
I mean, maybe you're going to use it for the Blizzard, but at that point, you're already, like, down a player, so you decided not to. So you have an opportunity, though, to kind of let one go. So you may need to use it just to push on through the choke.
Yeah. Florida want to try and flank, but yeah, Johnny was waiting for that. Sire player, again, looking to make the play. But now the Titans are getting wise to it. They know that Sire player will eventually look to flank. That's why we saw Haxal in first person just before, lining a wall up in this doorway that Repel's standing in. Gargoyle slept. Byram just wrecked. Biotic Grenade thrown at Fate as well, which will make life harder for him. This is... Avert your eyes, kids. This is about to get nasty.
So now the Vancouver Titans, they start to push up. A very dangerous position here as Johnny's pushed up. You could get a hook and then just rip them off the side of the map.
Would they fall, though, even if he...
Yeah, I think so. I think it's far enough.
Managed to pull them to the right.
You just have to, like, really hard turn, and there's the small dock here where you can knock them over the side, so...
BKB just... I mean, look at his positioning, right? It doesn't look confident to you. Dragon Strike, another hold here. Can they catch someone other than Janu and Bumper? The answer's no. Axel's just like, okay, well...
They do push up and get the pick here, though.
Janu's down. Fate, you can see, yeah, he realizes they need to make up some time. He is forging ahead. Axel discorded. Yes, that's what the Zenyatta here is for. That Discord Orb. Biotic Grenade connects, though. Axel is a pain in the rear.
It's a good stall. So they have to burn the res on the Byram. So, I mean, that stall allows, you know, everybody but Haxal to respawn at the same time. Now
you don't always get a good chance to defend here at the end of point B.
Yeah, you'll have Haxal come back into the fight. You're going to have almost 6 ultimates here for the Vancouver Titans against just the Transcendence and probably Valkyrie, as Brain's going to get it right now.
That Infosite tells the Titans everything they need to know about who is sort of grouped up. And, oh, who isn't? Johnny tries to take a breather. No dice. Dragon Strike now. Note that Slime was trying to go for the Resurrect now to Valkyrie to get out of the way. Blizzard thrown down on the point. Gargoyle still frozen up. Byram not affected by it because he's in Transcendence, but it don't matter. Repel is down. Johnny now going for the whole hog to try and force the Florida Mayhem away from the payload, but he's so vulnerable while using it. He gets burnt down. Haxal and Bumper still set up behind this barrier though, and Haxal would love to freeze Fate up. Halt. No connection there from the Mayhem. Bumper trying to take Fate one-on-one, and nothing Sire player can do to try and keep Byram alive. He's going to get broken too! You don't need a blade to get multi-kills. Haxal just walks up one by one, sends him off to the headsman's axe. Yeah, really not coming back from this one. The Florida Mayhem have nothing left to work with here, and that'll do it. The Vancouver Titans, they take away Blizzard World. That's a 3-0 in the series. Their lead is unassailable. They're going to take the W one way or another.
I think a lot of people had a lot of questions about the Vancouver Titans coming into this meta. Easy Haxal, though, I mean, he is living life.
Such a pro.
Playing the Genji, 15 final blows, 31 limbs, only 4 deaths there on Blizzard World. Vancouver, they put away the series. They go up 3-0. We'll see if they can get the 4-0 right after this quick commercial break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Into the iris.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
You can't have a series full of mayhem without crazy plays like we saw on Blizzard World, Matt, and also Junkertown in the map pool. These are all the things that we love about fun Overwatch, and that's what it is at this point, because the Titans have already locked up the series 3-0. And now for Florida, it's an opportunity to continue to test their might against the mightiest.
We'll see if Vancouver can get that 4-0. It's looking quite likely.
You say with a straight face?
I am. People can't see my face.
That's right.
But they would never know.
Oh, I gave it away, my bad.
But you didn't even know, because you weren't even looking at my face when you said it, but...
I always look at your face.
Vancouver guys, they're hanging out. They're having a great time up there. I mean, every time you see, like, Haxel get a blade, it's like a whole team celebration. It's after every map, just the smiles on. A lot of positive vibes over there on the Vancouver side of things.
Yeah, but no flex fist bumps yet.
No, they've opted not to copy the Sinatra celebration. So it seemed like a few other teams have. And I think for Florida, you're still working some of these new players in. I think it's difficult to work them in against a team like the Titans and expect results at the start. We've seen like moments of really good play, and then we've seen moments of just not so great things. So I think the case is still out on Florida of what they become here in Stage 4.
4-0 for the Titans on this map. 0-3 for the Florida Mayhem on this map. I'm just trying to set expectations early here, fam. Let's see, though. Double sniper is the kind of composition that can... No, I tried. It's going to be rough.
I mean, double sniper, it all comes down to who's shooting well, right? So
who's got the hot hands?
And you have Saya player on one team, right? He was crushing in the last map. It's just getting everybody else in position to succeed. The Titans up to not play double sniper. They play Haxel on the Genji here on Junkertown.
Well, I mean, again, there are targets for him to go for. He just stays out of line of sight, man. He stays at medium to long range, gets shuriken damage in there, dives in to get kills. And then, I mean, a Nanoblade is devastating. There are 4 targets on Florida's side.
He's spread out so far, though.
Bumper, fortified, walk back. Very cool. Very cool bumper. Fate goes for a bit of a joyride there.
I actually think...
what?
Yeah, that's a nice hook there, a whole hook. And I actually think it would be almost, well, so not easier, but when Haxel doesn't have Blade, like the other team has to split off in these positions, I think it's a lot easier for him to like make a play for like the Hanzo or the Widowmaker. It's like, with the Blade, it's going to be much harder. You see right there, he gets a dash. Tries to push BQB and Rain out from that left-hand side, because that left-hand side will open things up for Hooreg.
Yeah, once the payload gets a bit further on, Haxel's going to have a little bit more room to work with. Right now, though, he has to behave himself.
That was a nice shot from BQB.
That will definitely quiet things down. Oh dear, BQB takes the challenge. Haxel, I mean, he has the option to go May. He might just try and play for another Dragon Blade. Depends how serious he is, I guess, about...
Nanoblade here. I mean, I think if you're the Vancouver Titans, I think you just decide, use Nanoblade here and then assess whether you want to stick with this composition or not. Sure. I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? He kills 2 with the Nanoblade, he dies, and then you end up winning the fight. You have an advantage, so...
I love how that's the floor for you in terms of...
have you been watching the series? I mean, he's been killing like 3-4 people every time we see him come out.
No, I just astral project every time he gets a blade, you know? Nice, that's a very cheeky angle from BQB. Great pressure on Hooreg. Don't Nanoblade now himself. It's not the time. Okay, maybe it is now.
I feel like Florida's damage dealers are definitely their strength as a team. I think it's just getting everything else in line.
I think Byram's been decent this series. Axel is waiting. He might be waiting for Infrasight here to set up. I mean,
we've seen a good. To be fair, we've seen a good hog from Gargoyle as well. I think it's just like sometimes it's their positioning is really poor and like decision making as well. This time they move forward, they move into the Nano Blade.
Yeah, it's been nice knowing you. Look, honestly, up until
that point, Rain. Yeah,
Rain, actually shoot him. Get him.
Yeah, you got repel. All right, now he's dead.
Yeah, Dragon Blade, great to break that open. Genji, obviously, his biggest weakness is that if he uses a dash reset and he doesn't have the ability to close the gap, then he just stands there and is very vulnerable. He has to use Deflect while he has Dragon Blade out, which is always a no-no, because you lose damage time. The Hulk, though, kind of fixes that. Gets everyone close together, which is exactly what Haxa wants to do, especially if he wants to get like 2 kills for 1 swipe of the blade and still have time to go and chase everyone else down.
And I think because he dashes through every single like Halt Hook combo, with the dash through, you don't know whether he's dashing to then blade and then dash again, or just because it's a thing you do all the time, right? You could end up in a world where he starts forcing support ultimates out because the other team thinks he has blade in certain circumstances when he does not.
Tough for Haxal, though. He can't really take BKB on head-to-head because he's being pocketed right now. Both are.
All he needs is a pocket now, so he's good to go.
I don't know if there's a way for him to end that fight. BKB actually backs away.
Hold. Ooh, they're lucky Rain got out of there alive. And he was real low, but
look at how fast the Titans are pushing it. They are going all the way.
They knew there was only 3 players up there.
I mean, it's been tough. The Florida Mayhem have had to defend first on both these payload maps, and they kind of get blown out.
That's the thing. It's not really like Florida's individual skill that's becoming the issue here. Like, I think they've actually put together a really decent roster in terms of that. I think it's just decision-making and things like positioning and ultimate usage is just really poor.
Which really comes to the 4 in maps 2, 3, and 4 in a series like this, right? Control, like, your individual skill gets to be shown off a little bit more, right? You just go off for kills, you're trying to set up.
Which is why that map is close. I mean, it's 2-1. The first
Hurek, trying to get to the high ground. He's actually still able to avoid the Dragon Strike and hit the blade. 3 for 1! Jackpot for Haxal! Ouch! I love it. The crowd's so chill, they're just up and down like, oh, he got 3 kills.
It's like the 13th time they've seen it this series. I mean, it's still awesome.
It was the same with Carpe. It's like, it's not special anymore. Haxal, so hot right now. Look at this. Nothing derelict about it.
Oh, 1 swipe for 3 kills.
This guy needs to start playing Overcooked or something like that.
Look at this, dude. They gotta have fate switch to Winston and then nano him. He's like trying to just hunt him down. The card's still moving.
Yeah, still going. It's almost at the end of the map, by the way. It's only Gargoyle. Gargoyle gets
they hook him on the card. Oh, come on!
Hashtag bring the mayhem.
They hooked them on. Repel and Bumper laughing. Dude, they had Gargoyle there. He was trying to contest, and then Johnny just hooks him completely away, and then Bumper just sitting on the card on Orisa just flies away. Oh, man.
Why is that allowed?
That was tough. Oh, look, I think there's so much craziness going on between like the blades, and you just kind of forget. I mean, even at one point, like, I'm watching Fate, like, from the high ground, and he's trying to push out Hureg. He pushes out Slime all the way, and I just kind of glanced over the card. I was like, oh, man, the card's still moving. Like, I'm sure that in the speed of the game, they probably react the same way.
Spirits are high on the Vancouver side of the stage. They'd be pretty pleased with that one. Splitting up the Florida Mayhem into multiple parts there in that last little fight. Haxal is more than happy if multiple players want to pay attention to him and want to try and shut him down. Again, if you have 2 guys trying to chase you, I mean that's a net player advantage on the objective, which is what really matters. So, Florida, man, I'd go with a double sniper here. I think that's totally fine. You just have to be ready for Haxal to blade.
I don't even know, like, just kind of thinking about that play. It's like, it's just really kind of like a heads-up play for Vancouver, like to use the hook to drag the one player who's contesting the card away from the card, because they knew nobody else was there. Everybody had dove into the back to go after Hureg, Slime, and Repel. So they had it, like it was a 2-on-1 on the card. They just took him away and they just run the card on in.
All right, 2 minutes and 36 on the clock for Junkertown is a lot. Florida Mayhem just going to take it point by point now.
The Genji defense, I'm very interested to see how they make it work out here. Because you're going to have to let them come, like, close the gap a little bit to get use out of it, right?
exactly what Haxal's trying to do here. He's playing a dangerous game, trying to pick out, get shuriken hits, and generate his ultimate. 13%. I mean, that is definitely the biggest internal timer for the Vancouver Titans that we'll be playing around. You can expect to see Supercharger thrown out whenever, maybe. Oh, Janu. I don't think he anticipated the shield to get burst down that quickly. And it wasn't even a Storm Arrow for BQB that did it. Resurrect on Janu now with Rain down. It's a 6v5 favoring the Titans, though. And BQB, he's in trouble. Hureg is a hunted, and he finds the kill. Just a body shot will be enough to get the job done. Bumper gets hit with a biotic grenade, and he's still able to walk away.
And Hureg's taking a nice angle here, where Saya player actually did no line of sight on him.
I mean, it's going to be frustrating for Saya. If Saya player tries to take the opposite angle, then he's at risk of getting jumped by Haxal.
Yeah.
Just what they
He can't poke out too much because he's so scared of Haxal. Even Haxal just kind of like in the 1v1 scenario as the Titans have pushed the Mayhem into their spawn now. Just getting a little quick regroup, and then we'll push on back out here.
All right, no switches here. I mean, who's the nano boost target? Gargoyle, I guess? Give it to him? Maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of teams nano boost the off tank, whether it be Diva or Roadhog.
And we see the Mayhem, if they don't have the Roadhog, they actually don't take the Ana.
Here we go. Walls plus a Blaze coming on through.
So it needs to be a good hold, though. Yeah, that was a good hold. Slept, though. Nicely done by Byram. BQB is still taken down. And now Byram is missing. Fortunate for him. That's not really a great reward for him, preventing his team from getting completely slaughtered. Hureg still has it off angle, though. And the longer the fight happens here, the more likely he's going to find picks.
Bumper's still alive as well. Slime actually almost went forward there, thought about a res. And they're going to back up. They have the supercharger here to use. I mean, that's a really nice pick.
Not good.
Yeah, that's a really good pick for Florida.
Up until that point, the Vancouver Titans were in a position to contest. So here's how Byram lays the sleep dart down, by the way. He has to know something's going to be happening. He's actually paying attention elsewhere. Oh, really fantastic. That's excellent. Like I said, I've liked it in this series. I think he's looked very good.
I think we've kind of both come to the conclusion, like, I really like the individual skill like put out by Florida as a whole. I think it's just the teamwork. I think it's really the thing that needs to come together. I think the unfortunate part for Florida is that we are currently in stage 4. Not a lot of time to get the teamwork going in the right direction.
Look,
here.
You see this again. Florida are punishing the Titans when they play silly or they expose themselves. This is the first step to being able to take down a team like the Titans. Okay, whole hog here for Janu. At least they'll let him get rid of the supercharger, maybe? Oh, no, he doesn't quite get it. Again, another punishment. Florida Mayhem are now starting to make the correct reactions.
Still have Slime here live. Each uses Valkyrie goes down. Yeah, exactly. Like they see Janu and a bunch of other players playing way out of position. You take advantage of it. That's exactly what Florida needs to do. Keep themselves in the series. Slime will play Lucio here to try and get everybody back. They want to fight this at least one more time. You still have this supercharger here on Bumper.
Bumper. Okay, walks on out. Repel gets picked off there. Bumper didn't have a shield up. He was waiting for the supercharger for the rest of the team to be there, but that left Repel vulnerable.
Honestly, the once Repel drops, I mean, that fight is basically done and dusted, as you do not have enough healing with just Lucio in a composition like this to get the job done. So it looks like Bumper going to switch over to Winston. So maybe we'll have a big switch here over to some variation of a dive here.
What do you think about the Winston against like Roadhog Hanzo, though?
It's hard. I mean, a lot of burst damage that you can put down onto the Winston. Maybe use the nano boost on the Winston here to push into the back, but it seems like you're just having an issue with some of the sniper play here for the Mayhem.
I feel like
Janu to Diva as well now.
I think we were watching Fusions try and do that on Temple of Anubis, play the Winston. No.
Yeah, I think this is not much different than Anubis. Like Anubis, where you have to jump to like the static choke, where you're just gonna kind of be set up.
Here it's like you have a bit of a jungle gym on the high ground. Like
yeah, a lot of high ground, a lot of space to operate.
I love what Saya plays done. He's actually flanked around the backside here, put in the effort. Haxal, unfortunately, is just more efficient at killing than he is currently. Fate in trouble. Haxal with the deflag, finish on Fate. 3 kills for the fight. 13 final blows overall for Haxal.
And I think if you're Vancouver, if you can force the switch off of the sniper play, you feel really good about it. I think that's really where you could have gotten hurt, is the double sniper play from Saya player and BQB. BQB goes to May now, so Saya player goes to McCree. So there you go. You got exactly probably the action you wanted. I wouldn't be surprised if potentially they think about switching after this next fight.
Haxal, by the way, is a name that kind of sounds like it's nasty, like it's gory. I mean, it does translate, I believe, and I can be corrected by a Korean speaker, to massacre. something similar. Which is we don't talk about it on Disney XD because that's like a really emotive kind of idea. But that's what it means. He's a smiling face, but he's named himself after a very grisly affair, and he kind of carries it out on the regular here.
The card is moving there. Florida's getting going.
How good does it feel that you get ult charge for your own self-killing as Roadhog? Whole hog available for Gargoyle here, but he's...
Just forget about all the ultimate charge you're giving the other team by playing Roadhog, but sure.
Just don't get hit, forehead. Bumper, Primal Rage, sees Byron. Sleep Dart not connecting, but Bumper, that's what happens when you try and play against his composition. He got frozen, then hooked in.
Yeah, and that's why I thought they may have thought about switching once they got this double sniper play off, so...
Matt, what do you think is in May's endothermic blaster with this skin? What is that?
Huh?
Like, what's in the endothermic blaster? What's she shooting?
No.
Oh,
So that'll be a self-destruct up to the high ground. Gets the supercharger. The sound barrier comes out here from Slime.
Okay, looks like Science is trying to line up. Oh! Axel walked into that. Deadeye, it kind of acts a bit differently now. It ticks up much faster after the first, 5 seconds? Gets really bulky targets, but still very good on targets like that. Hureg tries to get an angle here while staying out of line of sight. Able to find that McCree getting a second now as well. Who's going to deal with Hureg? There are some shields in play. It looks like Byram's actually going after Hureg here. He just appears in front of him, trying to go for the 1v1, but I don't think the Slime's going to allow that to happen. Oh man, that's filthy.
Yeah, they kept Byram alive for a while. They keep Bumper up though. I mean, it was such a sick play from Janu. Like, Bumper gets hooked. He flies in with the defense matrix. We can take a look at Hureg's POV here. 2K, taking a lot of these nice off angles. Gets one.
We never got to really see this from Hureg last year, did we? He always became a meme.
A little bit. Like, there was a time where the London Spitfire were playing Prophet and Hureg pretty consistently, but like you never really saw him like pop off. Like he played well. Like
not like the pine moments.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. Like it seems like way more explosive of a player now.
Well, Florida Mayhem are running out of time, and Hureg finds yet another. He strikes again. And no Ana means no nano boost.
Big biotic grenade.
4 players. That's Hureg, another one. And he's coming alive now. Starting to feel himself. Doesn't have to flex out of game if he's doing it in game. 19 seconds left. Are you sure it's snow?
As they'll have walls, yes, I am positive.
Doesn't look like it.
You do have 2 support ults here for Florida. I mean, well, you're not gonna have your Blizzard anymore as BQP ends up dropping here. Looks like it's gonna be a hold from
no
the
chance
Vancouver
of touching
Titans.
here. That'll get the job done one way or another. The Vancouver Titans maybe loosen the belt a little bit in the final stages of that match, but the result is still the same. It's a 4-0, and they have had many of those. The Vancouver Titans map differential must be approaching plus 60 at this point. I think New York last year plus 52. I think that was what they ended with, and that was considered to be huge. I'll get corrected by that one surely. I just like throwing out inaccurate half-formed facts, and you know.
This is a dominant series for the Titans, man. I mean, Hacksaw looked incredible on the May and Genji. I think for Florida, I think you did see some good play from everybody individually at times. I think it's just the teamwork, the coordination, the ult usage, just not there, not close to the same level of the Titans.
Oh, I mean, very impressive. We highlighted a couple players from Vancouver we expected to be strong. Hureg, again, another good performance. Some maps, though, I'll be honest, he was quiet. The Widowmaker only like a few final blows on Blizzard World definitely allowed Haxel to sort of take center stage and dominate. That's always been kind of his style, though. Let's go down to Danny and a player with a jersey the color of real snow.
Mitchell, Matt, thank you very much. I am standing right next to the Genji god, Hacksaw. One more time. Genji. Wow. That's my question. Just Anubis, you just had, I think on Anubis you had 15 Dragon Blade kills and just absurd amount of Dragon Blade kills again on Junkertown. Why are you so good? What's the Titans feeding you? 질문 굉장히 쉬워요. 굉장히 길어 보이죠? 네, 왜 이렇게 잘하세요, 겐지를?
제가 예전부터 많이 겐지를 해왔기 때문에 좀 그런 그 숙련도 때문인 것 같아요, 저는.
I think the reason is pretty simple. I've spent a lot of time practicing and using Genji in Overwatch, so it just looks like that I'm good because of all the practice that I put into. How much practice did you put into, just on average? 좀 얘기를 한다면 아까 연습을 좀 많이 해서 겐지를 잘한다고 했는데 어느 정도 연습을 하면 좀 그 정도가 될 수 있을까요?
한 저처럼 한 3년 하면 저처럼 될 수도 있지 않을까요?
3 years, everybody, 3 years. Put in 3 years on Genji and you'll be like Haksal. Alrighty, for today's match against Florida Mayhem, clean 4-0 for you guys. How are you guys able to defeat Florida Mayhem in such a dominant fashion? 오늘 좀 굉장히 압도적인 승리 일단 너무나 축하드리고요. 어떻게 해서 좀 이렇게 잘 이길 수 있었나요?
제가 그 매일을 연습 많이 해와서 그걸 이용한 전력을 통해 좀 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
Strategy-wise, I actually put in a lot of practice, and we actually really talked a lot about using Mei, and I really practiced a lot of Mei, and I feel like that really worked out well for our team today. Alrighty, cool. Thank you so much, Haksal. Back to you guys, casters.
Thank you very much, Haksal. Great to see. Going in one of these, one of those, just drag blade everything. That's what we like to see. That was a lot of fun.
Quite an aggressive movement.
How many times did you flinch just then?
I think maybe twice. I think I actually did. Yeah.
You're locked in here with me, mate. It was a very impressive performance from the Titans. I think you already said that. There are some, like, this is almost obligatory at this point, but you know, we do want to sort of start to set a roadmap now for the Florida Mayhem going into next season, right? When things are really going to kick up. And they're obviously going to be, you know, out there with a lot of these teams and hoping to actually start to show some fruits of their labor.
Incorporate some of the newer players you got for Florida, which you're seeing regularly now, try and build some teamwork for the future, and then figure things out going into next year, right?
And who do you think the player of the match would kind of be for this kind of
I'm not sure. Yeah, I let you decide it, so it could be anyway.
I just randomly picked one. Haksal, player of the match here from the Vancouver Titans versus the Florida Mayhem. I don't really need to explain it, so instead I'm just going to react to this. Look at that one. Oh God, give me that one.
His Genji was unreal. I mean, throughout the series, he was so good on the Genji.
And I'm more than happy to give him our Omen by HP player of the match, Matt. It's an easy decision. We talked about it. You know, Hurek was definitely more of a supporting role in this series. Bumper played a lot of Orisa, so not always easy to see his contributions, but the Holtz was setting up a lot of these big ults.
If it wasn't for him like just popping off like to another level, I actually probably would have wanted to give this one to Bumper because I thought his halts throughout the series were really good to set up dragons, to set up these blades. 27 dragon blade kills. Crazy game, seven, almost 8 limbs per life.
Yeah, that's a really interesting stat. I like that as a ratio. Obviously, eliminations aren't final blows. It's his involvement in kills. And for Genji, that you know is quite often him dashing in, or that's how he's charging up that blade.
It's also a Genji playing against snipers and Mei and Roadhog. A lot of compositions where you can get, you know, manufacture really easy pickoffs. So he's able to pick his spots really well.
You were quizzical. You said, oh, I don't know why he's playing Genji on defense against double sniper here. You saw how he had to play it, right? A little bit different. Had to try and stay out of line of sight, try and play around the snipers and then strike when the time was right. And again, he just saved up blade and then he won the fight. It's as simple as that. And Vancouver Titans will be happy with their start now with Shanghai and, of course, the Florida Mayhem having been dealt with. Coming up next, though, the Boston Uprising take on the Chengdu Hunters in our last match of the week. A chance for Boston Uprising to start to show what they're made of. They're in a similar position, you know, to the Mayhem and not really having shown their potential.
And then for the Chengdu Hunters, like how do they adjust to this? They have been playing quite well. You know, even running multiple damage dealers, now going into 2-2. See if they can get things going in the right direction.
Stick around for that one, ladies and gentlemen. It's right around the corner. This is the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.